And so kind of use social media as a source of motivation if you want to, but not as a bar to compare your progress every day.
Yeah, and I think I would be, I would be wary of it, because people are great at sharing pictures, when they're at weddings or when they're on holidays or when they're out with their friends. But like, they're only sharing the highlights. I always use it as an example of back in the day when we all watched Match of the Day. It was the only time we got to see football, and what you got out of a 0-0 match was the best bits. So if you see the highlights of a football match, you'll see somebody, hitting the post and a penalty, a few offside decisions, a few chances, a few bad tackles, a few red cards, a few funny moments in the match. But you wouldn't get the other, 88 minutes of crap that you have to put through. And that's what social media is. It's 88, people are not sharing the 88 minutes of crap that they go through every day. They're just sharing the fun parts. Here I am out for a meal. Here I am checking into Dublin Airport going on holiday, but everybody's lives has ups and downs. The problem with social media is we tend to share our ups and not our downs. And that's something that we're looking to help with now. And I know on LinkedIn, I reach out to a lot of probably middle-aged men that are dads that are working, that have, hit a wall with their weight or their goals, and trying to reach out to them, because men, especially, as we know, are pretty poor at asking for help.
Yeah.
So it's saying, look, I'm here, I've walked the walk, I'm not an expert, but some of the stuff that I've done might work for you. If you're happy to pick up the phone or have a Zoom call with me, like, I'll try and, listen to people, tell them what's worked for me, give them a bit of advice, and open up and opening up to other people and asking people for help is really important. And as I said, men are pretty bad, are pretty poor, are asking for help, but the help is there, like, it really is. And it's just asking for it. Or what I tend to do is ask people, do they need help? So instead of waiting for somebody to ask you for the help, ask them, actually, are they okay? Do they need help? Do they need to talk about something? Do they need to have a Zoom call? Do they need to go for a walk? Because a lot of the time we won't, as men, ask for help. So it's really important.
Absolutely. Yeah. And look, in honor of Men's Health Month, I suppose it's probably good to say, just look, anyone watching this who needs a bit of help, don't be afraid to reach out to, there's plenty of professional services out there. There's, if you want to reach out to someone personal, if you're struggling, ask for help, whatever the case may be.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so I suppose we're going to have to mention lockdown a little bit. How have you found the switch to, you mentioned not being a huge fan of gyms yourself, which would lead me to believe a lot of your workouts, let's say, are kind of solo, between yourself and Yvonne, maybe you go for runs or kind of work out around the house. How has moving into lockdown impacted your workout routine, and how have you coped with the shift?
Well, it's back to those habits, and like there's 4 areas of habits that are eat, move, rest, routine. And if you can change one of them for the better every day, they tend to actually interlink with each other. So just using a quick example, like if you decide I'm going to move more, and every morning I'm going to go for a walk at 10 o'clock for a half an hour. So that will improve your movement. It will improve your routine, because you go every morning, say at 10 o'clock. It will also improve probably your rest, because you'll probably be more tired in the evening, having done that walk every day. And then the eating around it, 10 o'clock might be the time that you have that cup of tea and a biscuit. So you're improving your eating. So that one change every day. So one area of the 4 areas of habits, if you improve that every day, it interlinks with the other ones. And it's very simple to sustain it every day. So it's bringing a new habit in every day. How can I do something different today that's going to be part of my daily life going forward? And it can be something simple. An easy way to start that. So it's like that 10 o'clock walk, or wherever it might be, having, an apple with a cup of tea at 10 o'clock instead of, the couple of biscuits. So again, it's improving your routine, it's improving your eating, and you're obviously going to, again, sleep better with better food inside you. So it all interlinks. But I found habit stacking was a great way of doing it. I'm not sure whether you're familiar with the term, but it was probably something that I had done 4 years ago, and it's only a term that I came across sort of last year, but I've probably been doing it already. And just again, taking it back to the basics of it, a simple, thing that we do every day. So if you get up in the morning, you have a shower, you might have a shower, and then after your shower, you brush your teeth. You're basically just doing stuff without even realizing you're doing it, and it's your daily habits. When you get into the car, you put on your seatbelt. So 20 years ago, we weren't wearing seatbelts in cars, or 30 years ago, we weren't wearing seatbelts in cars. Now it's just normal for you to get in, put on your seatbelt, and drive wherever you're driving. You're doing it unconsciously nearly, because you're, something that you do every day. So what I do is, if I have an espresso machine here at home. If I put on the Nespresso machine, it takes about 60 seconds to pour the coffee. So within that 60 seconds, I'll try and fit in a small bit of exercise. So it might be, skipping, star jumps, squats, whatever it might be. So now every time I have an espresso, which might be, say, 3 times a day, when I press the button, I'm up and I'm doing the exercise, I'm punching the air, wherever it might be, just to keep moving. So it's just seeing, what am I doing on a daily basis that I can add something to? And as I said, it can be anything simple. So if you're, I gave a good example last week when I was doing the Zoom. Every time I go on the Zoom, I'll drink a pint of water. So you're associating your Zoom half-hour call with a pint of water. Every time, I do X, I will do Y. So it's just fitting that in every day. And again, it has to be something that can be sustainable. It's not something, every day I'm going to climb the Sugarloaf Mountain. It's not that hard. It's just something that you're doing every day, that you attaching it onto something that you already do. So we all do things like, every time when I drop the kids off to school, I'll run back home. Just something simple like that you're stacking it onto something that you're already doing. And it's really simple. I mean, I started doing, as I said, 4 years ago. My example 4 years ago was probably a bad one. We had a toilet downstairs. We're in a dorm or bungalow here, so our main bathroom is downstairs. And the flush on the toilet was one of those press button ones. So every time you pressed it, you had to allow it to flush, and it would keep running, and then you had to press it a second time. So every time I was waiting for the toilet to flush out, I'd have to wait to press it again. So during that, again, probably a 60-second period, wash your hands, dry your hands, and then I was punching the air. So every time I went to the loo, I was doing a little bit of exercise. The more water or coffee I drink, the more exercise I was doing. And it all adds up at the end of the day, but it's just simple ways of, it's now every time as I say, it's associating that little bit of exercise with an espresso machine, or that little bit of exercise with going to the loo, or wherever it might be. It can be something more pleasant than that for other people that are listening. But it's something that you're doing every day, already, that you can stack something onto it. And it's just making those small changes. Like, people give themselves, again, back to the weight targets, or even like couch the 5K. People are saying, like, they're going to do this couch the 5K now in the month of November. Like, I would change it, just say couch the front door, because once you get past that front door, you've started. So it's just going. It's like the thoughts of everything, are worse than actually doing it. So it's giving yourself, the freedom to actually, okay, once I get past that front door, I'll do a 14-minute, 40-second walk today, and I might improve on it each time. But it's just getting out and doing it. And it's more the doing than actually what you're doing once they're good habits. So once they're not bad habits that you're adding in every day, and they're good habits, it will just become something that you consistently do.
Sure. No, it makes a lot of sense, but and I think throughout our chat here, it's something that you've kept coming back to is just making the small, just consistently make good small choices,
Yeah, and it's small changes equal big results. I mean, that's what we had, at the start of our journey, was the small changes and hopefully getting big results. But you can see it does happen. It takes time. I lost 104 pounds in 2 years, which equates to 1 pound a week over the course of 2 years. So 52 weeks in a year, 52 pounds a year, 104 in 2 years. And that wasn't every week I lost a pound. Some weeks you didn't lose anything. Some weeks you lost more. But it weighed out, no pun intended, of a pound a week for the 2 years. And I look, people always come to me and say, look, I have a target now of 5 pounds this week. I always say the same thing. If you can lose 5 pounds in 1 week, you can put on 5 pounds in 1 week as well. So it's much simpler for me now. You know, you have periods like Christmas and Halloween where there's plenty of, you know, food available and sweets available and whatever you have, chocolates or whatever. You know, it's having those little bits, but not overdoing it. And I know myself, like if I go 1 or 2 pound over, I know how to drag it back then and start again. So it's, you know, sometimes when you lose too much, it's easier to put it back on as well.
Sure. All right, fantastic. Well, I think we're probably running a bit close to time here, so maybe just one last question
for you. Oisin, you know yourself.
Yeah, so I suppose one thing I wanted to ask you, and now look, I know I've asked you for a lot of advice throughout the course of it, but just is there anything else that, you know, looking back on the journey you've been through now, is there anything that you wish you knew starting into it or at any given point throughout it that you know, had someone just whispered in your ear at the right time, it would have made things a little easier?
I think the only thing that I regret is probably not doing it, you know, 10 years ago or 15 years ago. I'm 40, myself and Yvonne are 41 now. So I think you know, people are asking me to go play for the over 35s soccer team or play for the junior B, GA team, you know, because I did play when I was younger. And I'm not sure. Well, I probably could go back and could play. I've this fear of getting injured if I do. But I think if I was 31, I might have been able to go back a little bit quicker. So the only regret I have is not doing it earlier. But I certainly wouldn't regret or change anything we did. You know, we went about it the right way, and I think it's paid off. I think remembering it takes time, and everything takes time. So nothing, you know, that comes easy lasts, and nothing lasts that comes easy. So you really have to put in the effort. You really have to, you know, make it work for you. And it's making it part of your life as opposed to taking over from your life, you know, and once you incorporate it into what you're already doing, you know, it can be a lot easier. But it's still hard, like, make no, you know, qualms about it. It's a daily battle, you know. It's probably something that we be battling with, if you like. And that's not to say it's a, you know, every day is a bad day. It's not. That battle is something that people go through all the time, whether they have other habits around drinking or smoking or betting or whatever it might be that people have addictions to. You know, eating the wrong food is an addiction in itself. You know, making bad choices is an addiction in itself. So it's just controlling it and knowing you're in control of it. But it's a daily battle, but it's a good one as well. Like, we love what we're doing. We love the food that we're eating. You know, we love cooking. So it's falling back in love with cooking. It's having that variety. You know, having those choices. You know, sometimes we make meals and they're dreadful. They're absolutely dreadful. I done a vegetarian pasta there a couple of weeks ago where I thought it was great, going to a Jamie Oliver book and, you know, roasting a cauliflower and blitzing it into this sort of cheesy cauliflower sauce. It was absolutely dreadful. The kids wouldn't touch it. Yvonne wouldn't touch it. And I gave up halfway through, just thinking, no. and we'll never make it again. And so what? You know, things like that happen. You have to try things and you fail and you bounce back and you get up. But you learn from those mistakes. I won't be making it again, you know, so we'll try different types. But it's not being afraid to fail. You know, it's how you get back up, how you bounce back, that really matters. And I think that's a big thing, you know, around this time. Resilience is really, really important around this time of year. And resilience, you know, the way we're stuck at home, it's really important. But it's that bouncing back, and we all have it in us. We really have got resilience in us. We're very good at bouncing back as human beings from everything. But it's controlling the controllable and forgetting about what we can't control. You know, I spoke at a podcast there during the week, and we were talking about, you know, people are concentrating on, I'm not able to go to the pubs, I'm not able to go to restaurants, I'm not able to do this. And that's all negative. So it's staying positive. Think, like, I am able to go for a walk, I am able to go for, you know, meet with friends, you know, I am able to, on a smaller basis, obviously, I am able to, if I want, I can't go to the pub, but I can get a takeaway from my local restaurant. I can still get booze in the supermarket or in the off license. You know, you can still do those things. So concentrate on what you can do as opposed to what you can't do. You can spend more time with your family. You know, you can do other stuff with the family. Obviously, again, it has to be within the restrictions, but try and focus on what you can do all the time and not what you can't do. And that takes back to the stuff when we changed first. You know, there was a lot of things that we were thinking, well, I can't have pizza, and I can't have takeaways, and I can't have booze, and I can't have bread, where there's probably 500 things that you can actually eat, you know, or 1,000 things that you can eat. Now, there's loads of stuff that you can eat. So it's focusing on what you can have and not what you can't, which will keep you positive all the time. So.
Great tip as well. Yeah. So yeah, actually, just for anyone who wants to follow yourself and Yvonne, is Instagram, you mentioned Yvonne's running that, is Instagram the best place to keep up to date with your content, or is the website, LinkedIn, where's the best place to go?
Yeah, I'd say Instagram, Rob and Yvonne on Instagram. Then I'm on LinkedIn as well, Rob Cullen. We have the website, robandyvonne.ie. And then I'm on Twitter. If I go back on Twitter, I'll see. It depends what happens in the elections, whether we go back on Twitter or not. But it'll be Rob Cullen 79 on Twitter as well. So I'm just reaching out. And as I say, like we mentioned, it's about men's health. It's really important for men to ask for that help. I mightn't be the right person to help them, but I might be able to pass them on to somebody that is. And what I'm finding over the last 12 months, people are reaching out to the likes of me who's walked the walk, you know, who's lost the weight, who's been that person that has hit, you know, shame, health problems, being very, you know, unhappy, not being very confident, and changing my life around just by making those small changes. And people have come to me and said, look, I am that person you were a few years ago. Is there any tips that you can give me? So of course I can. It's having that call with somebody and having that chat with somebody and say, okay, what have you tried before? What's worked? What hasn't worked? Why are you doing it? Really important, you know, and giving them the basic tips. And it's back to this idea of losing weight is simple, you know, but it's not easy. But it's giving them those tips and giving them that belief that it can actually happen. I mean, I know I sent you pictures of us before, and it might be something that's worth putting up with the recording of it. You know, here's Exhibit A, here's Exhibit B. You know, it is possible. You know, anything is possible. Not everything is possible, but anything is possible if you put the work in, you put the effort in, and you believe that you can do it. So reaching out to somebody and asking them for the tips and what's worked for them is really important. And I think that's, as I say, why people are speaking to the likes of me, because I've done it. I've been there. I know how they feel. I know what's worked. You know, it doesn't work for everybody, but I can tell them, look, this worked for me, try it. And it might take little snippets of different things that work for me that they can bring into their own life and hopefully work for them.
Yeah. Now, I know you're saying that, look, and from a personal perspective, I would rather speak to someone who has been in my exact position and has gotten to where I want to be, as opposed to, say, someone who, fair enough, may have a qualification in nutrition or whatever the case may be, but has never found themselves in that same position and doesn't really know the in depth the mental impact of you know, not being where you want to be physically, or just in terms of your health overall. So
yeah, I mean, look, if you're looking for health experts, doctors, dietitians, I'm not the person to speak to, you know. But the thing is, a lot of people aren't. A lot of people are looking for somebody, you know, that has been there and done that, you know. And I'm happy to offer my services, if that's what you call them, or help the people for free. I don't charge for anything. I just help people. I love, like, I can't put a price on somebody coming back to me after 3 months and saying, Rob, I took on board some of the tips that you gave me. I get your email every week, and I'm after losing 5 stone. You know, so you can't actually put a price on that. So I don't. I just help people, and the joy and the happiness that brings me is what keeps me going, because I was that person. I was that person that was 21 stone at one time. So I know what it feels like, and I've been there, done that, and now to have the ability to help people is actually, it really is priceless. It's something that, you know, it makes you feel happier inside that you've helped people, you know, and got them on a journey to a healthier life. And when you see what it means to people send me pictures of them out in the park with their kids, with their families. You know, you've actually changed somebody's life just by talking to them for an hour. So it's a really great feeling, and it really is something, you know, if you can help people in different areas. Look, we all have the ability to help others, to listen to give a few tips and advice if they're valuable, if they need them. But actually just that power of listening to people is really important. I probably haven't shown it too much today now, the power of listening. I've done more talking, but it really is important. And as I say, if it means I can help one other person, you know, it's my job is done. So.
No, that's fantastic. It's great. Look, it's great that you're willing to help people like that, you know. So yeah, look, again, for anyone listening, I'd highly recommend checking out Robin Yvonne's content online. He's listed all of the places that you can find them. We'll stick them up with the post anyway, just for ease of access. And then of course, you know, stay tuned to all of Impeel's content. We're going to be throwing up a lot of great resources throughout the rest of the month, just focused around men's health. So there's plenty of interesting content on the way. But thanks a million for your time, Rob. It's been fantastic chatting to you. First time speaking, so it's been really great meeting you and hearing more about your journey.
Brilliant. It's great to be here. And as I say, if you're looking for one tip to go away with, start today. Don't put off tomorrow what you can do today.
Oh, great advice. Great advice. Thanks a million, Rob.